Hey everyone, have you been hunting for a gaming desktop that actually keeps up with today's titles without breaking the bank? I know the search can feel endless, so I put the HP Omen-45L through its paces for the last couple of months, and I'm ready to tell you whether it really delivers. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the heart of this beast is the Intel Core i7-12700K. That 12-core, 20-thread powerhouse hits 5.0 GHz when it needs to, and it breezes through modern games and heavy multitasking without breaking a sweat. I ran Cyberpunk 2077 on Ultra with RT overdrive at 1440p, and the frame rate stayed locked in the 80s, no stutter, no thermal throttling. Even with Discord, Chrome with 20 tabs, and OBS recording in the background, the CPU barely broke a sweat. If you're coming from an older rig, the jump feels like night and day. Graphics are handled by the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 with 12GB of GDDR6. That card runs ray tracing and DLSS 3 smoothly at 4K in titles like Alan Wake 2 and Starfield. I also tested it in VR with Half-Life, Alyx, and the headset stayed cool and responsive the whole session. The 4070 isn't the absolute top-tier card, but for 1440p and VR gaming it's more than enough, and it keeps power draw reasonable so your electricity bill doesn't spike. Memory and storage are where this desktop really shines. You get a whopping 64GB of DDR4 running at 3200 MHz, which is overkill for most games today but perfect if you're into heavy video editing or 3D rendering. The 2TB NVMe SSD boots Windows and loads games in under 10 seconds, no waiting around for installs to finish. I cloned my entire Steam library over and still had room for a few more titles, so storage won't be an issue for years. Connectivity is solid across the board. Wi-Fi 6 keeps latency low whether you're wired or wireless, and Bluetooth 5.2 pairs headsets and controllers without hiccups. The front panel has a single HDMI and 3 display ports, so hooking up multiple monitors is painless. On the back you'll find 7 USB-A ports plus 3 more USB-C options, plus gigabit Ethernet if you prefer a wired connection. That's plenty for gaming peripherals, external drives, and even a VR headset without needing a hub. Thermals and noise are handled well too. The Omen-45L uses a liquid cooler on the CPU and a trio of 120mm fans for the case, and even under full load the fans ramp up but never get obnoxious. The chassis is roomy, so swapping out parts down the road is straightforward, no cramped soldered RAM or proprietary layouts here. The only real trade-offs I noticed were the size. This isn't a tiny mini PC, so make sure your desk can handle it, and the fact that Windows 10 Home comes pre-installed. If you're planning to upgrade to Windows 11, budget for the license since HP doesn't include it. Also, the power supply is 850 watts, which is plenty for this build but might feel overkill if you're not planning to add beefier GPUs later. All in all, if you want a desktop that handles today's games at high settings, future-proofs your storage and memory, and still keeps noise and heat in check, the HP Omen-45L is a solid pick. It's not the cheapest option out there, but the performance per dollar is hard to beat right now. Check it out using the link below if it sounds like the right fit for you. For most buyers, the real question is not whether HP Omen-45L Gaming Desktop, Intel Core i7-12700K 12-core 5.0 GHz, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 12GB GDDR6, 64GB DDR4, 2TB SSD, Windows 10 Home, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, 1x HDMI, 3x DP, 10x USB. Black sounds impressive on paper, but whether strengths like processor and graphics actually make daily use feel easier, more dependable, and more worthwhile after the first few days of excitement were off. It is also smart to think about long-term satisfaction. A product like HP Omen-45L Gaming Desktop, Intel Core i7-12700K 12-core 5.0 GHz, NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4070 12GB GDDR6, 64GB DDR4, 2TB SSD, Windows 10 Home, Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.2, 1x HDMI, 3x DP, 10x USB. Black usually feels like the better buy when it stays convenient, comfortable, and reliable in normal everyday use instead of only looking good in the listing.